I'm Trey Niven, PGA professional and top 50 UK golf coach. I'm going to teach you how to break 100 in just 6 weeks. This is week 2 of 6 where we're going to be focusing on pitching, giving you all the technical insights, some drills to implement pitching into your game to shoot lower scores and break 100. Before we get started in this series, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you never miss a weekly upload of this Break 100 in 6 weeks program. Let's get to the golf. So firstly, let's define pitching, what it is and where do we use it on the golf course. So for me, pitching is a term also used in golf for a half swing, as basic and as simple as that sounds. So we might use it when we're too far away from the green where we can't chip the ball, which is coming later in this Break 100 series. But we're too close where we can't use a full swing because it's going to send it over the back of the green and we're going to be no good there. So the pitching action, we're going to explain the technique, how to set up to the golf ball, and also some drills for you to go away, start to put this into practice so you can hit more greens from this area and lower those scores. So let's talk about the setup of a pitch shot and what we need to do to make this ball fly exactly how we want it to. So as you've just watched in the last week 1 episode of Breaking 100, we still need to hit down on that golf ball just like we would do with an iron. So just from a setup perspective, we need to set up in a way that's going to help us do that and control distance, control how far that golf ball goes. So as an iron, we were set up fairly wide with a ball position right in the middle of the stance. For a pitch shot, we're going to narrow this down a bit. This is really going to help us control the swing speed, which is going to relate to the distance that golf ball goes. It's going to help me keep a little bit of pressure and weight forwards on that lead left leg. For an iron, we know we need to move right and left, create some laterals so we can create some power and send that ball far down the hole. But for a pitch shot, it's a controlled action. Remember, we're not sending that golf ball as far as we can. We want a controlled action. So we're going to really narrow that stance. I like 1 to 2 club head lengths between the middle of the feet there. And we're just going to lean a little bit of weight forwards on that lead left side. I also like to grip down this club a little bit, so maybe right in the middle of the grip, even towards the steel of the shaft as well, if you need a bit more control. This is really going to help us control the speed that we swing this golf club at by shortening it out a little bit. It's going to help you control the speed, it's going to help you control the strike, not get the club digging too far into that ground. So as we've seen there, let me just hit one now. So narrower stance, grip down the club, lean and a little bit of weight left. Tell me what you notice just from watching me play this pitch shot. That one was perfect. So what did you pick up on there just from watching me play that pitch shot? I'll explain a few things of what I was feeling in that action to make that ball do exactly what I wanted it to. So bearing in mind my setup's all changed now in order to control that golf ball. As you've seen there, I really controlled the length that my arms swung back and through, which then is going to directly relate to speed, which is then going to relate to distance. So a pitch shot, remember, it's that in-between half swing. We don't need all that arm swing and all that wrist hinge that we created in a full swing. So I always reference what is a half swing for me. A half swing for me is where the left arm, the lead left arm in the golf swing for a right-hander golfer, swings parallel or level to the ground. And then on the way through, it's exactly the same. So the arm's swinging almost chest to chest, or however you want to reference that in the golf swing. And as golfers, we've all got a set of golf clubs generally. If you're starting the game, you might not have as many. If you've been playing the game for a while, then you're going to have more golf clubs. So for me, I've got 3 wedges here. I've got a 58 degree, I've got a 54 degree, and I've got a 50 degree here. So that's going to be my lob wedge, my sand wedge, and then a gap wedge as well. I can also pitch with a pitching wedge if I need to as well. With all of these golf clubs, I've got a full swing that will go X amount of yards. Today, we're adding another yardage to all of those clubs. So you're gonna then have 2 yardages to play with. You're gonna have a full swing yardage and you're gonna have a half swing yardage. All of the half swing yardages are gonna be our pitching actions. So half swings with the bottom 4 clubs in your bag, pitching wedge and down or 9-iron and down, they're going to be the clubs that you start to develop this pitching action with. So let's have a look at a few drills that you can start to use in this pitching action that's going to really help you transfer and develop the technique and take it out onto the golf course. Let's look at what drills we can use to develop this pitching action. I'm also going to drop a bonus piece at the end of this drill section to help you shoot lower scores just by changing your mindset. So make sure you stick around for the short section I drop after this drills part. So we got 2 drills. We've got one smart ball and we've got one with a towel. Really easy one with a towel. Everybody's got a towel. And this one costs around £10 or around $12. I'll drop a link down below in the description where you can get access to this ball. It's super, super cheap and it's seriously going to help you develop your pitching action and much, much more. So let's give this one a go first. So all I want you to do, it's like a necklace and it goes over your neck and then it fits right between the forearms here. Now, this is really, really important for me because when I see most beginners, when they start pitching the golf ball, they start separating the elbows going back and they don't really know how to restrict their turn on the way back or their arm swing. So for me to keep this in a nice half swing really helps me picture where the elbows need to be and how much I can actually turn, because if I keep going, I'm gonna drop that at some point. So to keep the ball in means we've got to shorten our swing length out a little bit. So main goals with this is that you've got to keep the ball in going back and you've got to keep it on the way through, because again, on the way through, if I lengthen things out, I've got to separate the elbows to get there, which is going to result in me dropping this ball. It's also really good for your strike as well. If you can picture the length that that golf club is away from me, something that we call the radius in the golf swing, if I separate the elbows coming down, you can see that head of the club comes way up off the floor, so it means I'm not going to get my strike. In order to keep this ball in on the way through means you can see there, I'm just clipping the ground. You can see not too much divot. You can see the club is just brushing the floor and I've got my strike there for the pitch shot. So let's give this one a go. So ball between the elbows, we've got a narrow stance, we've got the weight left, we've gripped down the club. Goal is to just keep it in between the arms. Perfect. And that felt really, really good as well. Middle of the green, just what I wanted. Let's move on to the towel now. So the towel drill is very, very similar, but it's really easy for everybody to get access to. So the towel drill, we're just going to place this underneath that left armpit, underneath that right armpit for a right-handed golfer. And this is seriously going to restrict how far, again, we can swing back with a golf club. So you can see the towel, I have to keep this in and under my arms, both back and through. If I start to drop this now, you can see my elbows have separated, the club's swung too far, not really on plane, and it's not really going to help us strike that ball well. So towel drill is really going to help get the torso, get the chest moving around so we can strike the ball well and really control the length that that ball goes. So let's give this one a go as well. So same setup, trying to keep the towel in, turn the rib cage. Perfect. And you can see the distance that all 3 of those balls went was very, very similar. So awesome drill there to really help your pitching action control how far that golf ball goes, create a half swing, add more shots to your arsenal. Okay, so the bonus part to this pitching video, which is seriously going to help you shed shots off your score, is all about mindset and choosing the right shot and where to land it, or where we attempt to land it on the green. So as you can see here, perfect example, that pin is right on the back of this, and this green is quite a fair few yards long. I want to say this green's about 40 yards long. You can see the 3 shots that I've hit prior to doing this have all came up short of that flag. I've just gone for the middle of the green. Quite a common thing that I see so many players drop shots in their game is because they always try and attack the pin. So they see pin and they hit towards the pin. I don't want to go towards this pin. I want to make sure that I just guarantee hitting the green. Stats tell us that players that just hit the middle of the green generally will shoot lower than the players that are going towards the pins, because going towards the pins generally is going to come with some risks. So I don't want to play risky golf. I want to play safe golf if I want to break 100. So I'm going to start to work everything I can in my feel and my technique that's going to help me hit the middle of the green rather than that pin. Guys, I hope that helped develop your pitching action if you haven't really thought about pitching before. This is week 2 of a 6-week course to breaking 100 for the very first time. Join us next week where we're going to be looking at chipping the golf ball when we're kind of in between here and the greens. It's really going to help you lower your scores and break 100.